Hey guys, it's TC Reviews. Today we have the 75312 Boba Fett Starship, aka the Slave One from Book of Boba Fett. Here's how we work. We have the review sheet. We have playability, design, build quality, value, and TC opinion. And of course, it's the Boba Fett Starship 9+ Lego Star Wars. So, we're going to start off with playability. So, this is the actual build of the Slave One. It's quite nice. The wings rotate on its own. You have a space in the back for a Gamorrean guard. Can't get. It's quite finicky because it has to be small. Here it is. The Gamorrean guard with a grilled piece up there. Just slides on in there. It's so finicky. There you go. Now, you have the guns at the front, laser turbos. Then you have the wings, which rotate on its own. And you got the cockpit. Inside the cockpit, you have control panels you can see. Out back, you have some thrust and the carrying handle, which works really well. But the only thing is, which I have something to say about the set, is that it doesn't particularly need a carrying handle. You can just carry it like this. I mean, that's my opinion. Others may think otherwise, but yeah. So for playability, and it has it has some these stud shooters, and it has some. The wings are interesting, quite weird, but it's a good building technique. The whole of this is a really good building technique, really sturdy. And then you also got the little cart thingy, which acts as a stand. When we get to the design, I'm going to have to say something about that, because not too amazing what it's meant to do, but it's really good as a stand. It's a stand and a cart. Honestly, you don't really have these much in Star Wars, except for maybe you could use it for your rebel base, maybe with your X-Wing or something. That's really the only reason which I would use this. Doesn't really fit with this ship, really, but it does have it on the back of the box. It has the thing. You can have Mandalorian driving it. The thing in the background and just talking to each other. There's the handle, swing-load shooter. Yep. And one of my favourite bits is I love when they add that, like the nice the greebling's amazing. And I love when they do that, like ship on the side flying. Yeah, and that's of course the cockpit. That's how he sits in. Now we're going to look at. Wait, before we look at design. Sorry, this is my first one. We are going to port for this one. We are going to port for playability. I think it's really good, but I think it can be a bit bigger. I know it's a scaled down model and it's much cheaper, but I think it should have. This is at 3, by the way. So I think I'm going to give it a solid 2. Now, we're on the design. Now, design, I'm going to start off with the worst thing. Design. This, I have a real problem with. It's meant to be a stand. Don't get me wrong. It's really good being a stand. But, watch this. I put it up on the stand. Like that. I did it really wrong. I'm just trying to hold the camera and do it. It lifts. Some of you may not have this problem, but for me, it lifts off the ground a bit. And I built this all right, but for some reason, it lifts off the ground a slightly bit, and it's not stable. It just falls off, and that's not really what I want when I have it on display in that little box there. This is not what I want. I would rather if they maybe added, I guess they had to, for the money which you pay, you have to kind of get something to go with it for price per piece. But that just fell off. I'm just going to stick that in there. Don't really care. Yeah. I know it's a really good design for a cart, but I don't really like it. Anyway, so, and design for this, I think this is a really good design. Overall, really good building experience. Lovely design, really good detail. Looks exactly like the real Slave one. I mean, of course, I would, if you had the money, I wouldn't get this. I would get the UCS Slave one because from what I've heard, that's a much better, or the 20th anniversary Slave one. But if you want a cheap budget, this is what you can get. It's still a really good set, an alternative. It's quite, like, uses some really good building techniques for this bottom bit, really smooth. And it's most of it's tiled off, but it's nice to have a mix of studs and tiles. So that's nice. Then you got the wings, of course. The wings are quite cool. Designed for the figures. First of all, I have something to say about Boba Fett. They used the sand green jetpack. Now, that's what they used for the original Boba Fett, and I'm not too happy with that, and I'm not sure other people, and I'm sure people feel the same. Same with the helmet. It should be that new Boba Fett style helmet, but it's not, and jetpack, but it's not. But I guess it's not too expensive shit. It's not too an expensive set, so I guess this is what you get. But of course, you could just it doesn't really have to be for this Boba Fett. You can always use, if you have a other Boba Fett, you can always use your original trilogy Boba Fett. And now we have the Mandalorian. It's your usual Beskar Mandalorian, but with the new helmet. I'm not too big of a fan of the helmet though. I like the old helmet design. It just makes it look a bit more fatter, the helmet does. But loving the Beskar staff, or spear, whatever you want to call it. Love the cape. And I do have the armband somewhere, but I decided to use the pistol for this because that's his main weapon that he uses. Yeah. So, yeah. And it doesn't come with these stands, by the way. These are just from my collection. Yeah. So, overall, design, not too fond of it. I'm gonna put a 1. Not saying that that's a really bad design. Whoever built that, whoever thought of the design for this, it's not saying it's rubbish, but it's not amazing. Still, I could think of ways where it could be better. Build quality. So, when I built this, I had some help because the Technic bits. Don't tell anyone, but I'm not too good at the Technics. I'm really bad at Technic. So it's mainly this bit here which I had some struggle on. It's just the sides and whatnot. But overall, it's actually quite easy. The instruction manual, really good. Teaches you through it. Really good. And it takes you through it to the finishing product. Stand. There it is. The Carbonite Mandalorian, yeah. So I think overall, build quality, I'm going to give it a 3. I have nothing to say about that. It's an amazing build experience. Doesn't take too long if you know what you're doing. Now, value. The value of this set is, at the time, in the UK, £45. Now, what you're getting here, it's not an amazing price, but this is the price at the moment in 2022 at the moment. And it was, when I first got this set, it was about £35 and it's gone up in £10. And it's only been about a month or so. It's incredible how Lego sets go up in value, but that's the value. I think I'm going to give it a 1. Yeah, I don't like the value. Now, overall, this is my overall opinion of this set. I really like this set, and I think it is a really good thing for my collection, and it looks really good on display. I guess you could always, this thing. You can always just maybe modify it to make. You could modify the hand to make yourself a stand if you have some spare Technic pieces lying around. But not everyone has some spare pieces Technics lying around. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, you got this thing. It's amazing. Nothing to say about this. Just have to say it is amazing. Now, get back to my opinion. I think it's really good, but the only flaw. Look, if you look at the back, you know what? I mainly play with this set, but it has. But for people that collect it, it has that in the background. It has a gap. You may not be able to see it. Let me just turn the light on quickly. Is that better? That's better. Look, you can see that there's a gap.